Hey guys, what's up? So today I have tons of news and info regarding Call of Duty 2020, some good and some bad. First thing we're going to get right into is covering the leaked footage. I know a lot of you have already seen it, but there's some bad speculation that this map in the leaked footage takes place in present day because the tanks on the map are Abrams. But if you look at the technology on the walls and the buttons inside the footage, that is technology from the 60s and 70s. And you can also see that some of the Abrams are being tested on, being hooked up with wires, these big computers and stuff. Keep in mind the Abram was developed all through the 70s before it was used in 1980. So this map is probably set in the 70s during the Vietnam War in a lab that was developing the Abrams tank. There's also some untextured buildings and untextured vehicles. Some look older, some look newer. Obviously, they're all placeholders until the entirety of the map gets textured. Also, in the footage, we see the Daewoo K2. That was confirmed to be the weapon by the person who leaked the footage. It was to replace the M16A1 in South Korea. It wasn't put into standard use until 1984, but like the Abram, was developed all through the 1970s. And I remember in the first Black Ops, you use weapons that were at that particular time being experimented with and or were never put into standard use. But that was the point because back in the day, they would have operators, whether it be MACV or whoever, go out with experimental weapons that weren't put into standard use yet. And they would give critiques on what should change, what to adjust. But another purpose of doing this was because if it used a different type of round than what America traditionally used, or whatever country was doing this at the time, it was hard to find out who carried out an assassination or carried out a night op where everybody ends up dead by morning. The G11 would be a perfect example of this. All I'm saying is that there's a good chance a huge portion of this game will actually take place during the 70s. But other things to point out in the footage was the movement looks smooth and quick like Black Ops 2. Aiming down sight seems to be a little bit quicker, but the animation of carrying the weapon and maneuvering with the weapon looks to be identical to Modern Warfare 2019. And apparently creative class will be similar in respect to building your own weapon in Modern Warfare 2019, which to me is a good thing. I would also love to see them bring back the currency system where you earn currency by playing and you use that currency to buy attachments in whatever order you want. But we got no word on that just yet, so we're just going to have to wait. Another thing you may notice in the footage is that the HUD is pretty limited. You look down in the corner and see where your ammo is supposed to be. It's very simplistic, very limited, but again, it's pre-alpha. It's probably going to change. We can also see that there's a mini-map up in the corner. Some of the leaks from the last month claimed that the mini-map should be traditional at the release of the game, but because there's nobody firing a gun in this footage, we really couldn't tell. Now, this footage was proven to be real because Activision keeps taking it down, and the strike claim on YouTube is that it's from Call of Duty 2020, so this footage is legit, which means that what the guy who leaked the footage is telling us is most likely also legit. He also mentioned that there's still 45 minutes of gameplay left that he hasn't uploaded yet, and what he's told us so far is that with kill streaks, there will be a UAV, an artillery strike, and a rolling thunder type of kill streak. There will be a napalm strike, chopper gunner, and an RCXD. At least that's what we've got so far. There's probably going to be a counter UAV and a SAM turret along with that, but it doesn't appear that the list of kill streaks is going to get too crazy or too excessive. He also says outside of the Daewoo K2, there will be an M16, a 1911, and an AK-styled weapon. And also considering that Season 4 of Modern Warfare is introducing the Galil, I think it's safe to bet the Galil will be in that game as well, obviously. Now, one more thing that he hasn't pointed out is the campaign will actually take place close to present day. That it's around 2020, maybe closer to 2025, kind of like how COD 4 came out in 2007 but took place in 2011. But apparently the entirety of the game takes place through flashbacks, very similar to Black Ops 2 campaign. The reason this is interesting is because in the Black Ops campaigns, when you get done fighting through the flashbacks, you end up fighting in the present day, wherever that campaign actually takes place. So that means towards the end of the campaign, after you fight through all the flashbacks, that we will end up fighting around the present day. And if the Call of Duty universes are really combined as one universe, we may possibly bump into Captain Price, Gads, or Ghost at the final battle of this campaign. And for those who don't know about the evidence regarding Treyarch and Infinity Ward developing Call of Duties within the same universe now, I'll have that video down in the description. But this may be how they break it to us that it's within the same universe, and we'll possibly be bumping into these other characters periodically. And as for the last bit of news, apparently, according to this leaker, they are not planning on dropping a multiplayer beta. Take that with a grain of salt. It's J-Man. He claims it's because they're falling kind of far behind. Now, we know all the evidence that came out last month was that they weren't as far behind as we thought they were, and that they felt they were still very much on track, but the footage that we just saw was very untextured, and it turns out it's pre-alpha, so yeah, they could be still on track for the release of the game, no doubt, but that does not mean that they are on track for something like a multiplayer beta release, if that makes sense. The leaker states that instead we will just get a campaign demo, kind of like what would happen with the console players with World at War. For those who don't remember, World at War had a multiplayer beta that was only for PC, I believe. But for everybody else on console, there was a campaign demo, and it was co-op, and you could invite your friends and play online with them on that campaign mission. It was really cool. So personally, I think that'd be a pretty good move. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad move. I'll talk more about that in my next video. One more thing, David Vonderhaar was seen replying to a tweet about zombies. DK Dynamite says, still would have loved to see the transit bus in Blackout, driving it around while playing as Ted. Was that ever a possibility to be added? And David Vonderhaar replied, God, I wish I could answer this question. Yes. So apparently they were trying to add that into Blackout, and it just didn't go through. I wonder if they're planning on adding something like that to Warzone, considering how Warzone will be switching over to Black Ops as time goes on, and it will be kind of transformed into a more Black Ops related map. Vonderhaar also tweeted out these 3 cups of coffee. People are thinking it means 3 cups of coffee until the reveal, like 3 days until the reveal. And then just a couple hours later, PlayStation noted that the reveal has got a new date. It is going to be on the 11th. And we all had a pretty good idea that the PlayStation 5 reveal on the 4th of this month was supposed to be when the trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was supposed to drop. So it looks like it is still dropping with the PlayStation 5 reveal, and it's going to be on the 11th if that is what he's hinting at. But anyways, that's all the news and speculation I got for now. Please like, share, subscribe, keep the conversation going, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.